Obama is in Cuba. Trump is in D.C. And if the power brokers who want to control our government have their way, America is in trouble. My name is Howard Riell, and this is Real Truth. You're listening to the American Freedom Network, streaming live around the world at AmericanNewsNet.com and on Facebook and YouTube and Tumblr and in the book, Real Truth, Stay Angry. Of course, as always, broadcasting out across the Colorado Front Range on KHNC, Johnstown, Colorado, 1360 AM, The Lion. Our call-in number is 877-254-7524. My friends, welcome back to the fray. Two housekeeping notices. One, Wednesday, my guest will be Roger Stone, advisor to Donald Trump, part of the Reagan administration. He's been in on every GOP convention since Nixon, and he's going to weigh in and tell us exactly what kind of shenanigans are going on in Washington. Author of a book on the Bush crime family, on the Clintons' war on women. He'll be a fascinating guest. That's Roger Stone on Wednesday. Second thing is, I am suffering from allergies, and so if I sound like one of the living dead, I beg your indulgence. Item from Printly.com. 94% of voters want Kasich and Cruz out, according to a new poll. That is not a typo. An official poll of the GOP has shown an astounding margin of GOP voters want John Kasich and Senator Ted Cruz to bow out of the GOP race and endorse GOP frontrunner Donald Trump. Unquote. My friends, is life ever that simple? Ever? Of course it would benefit the United States of America if John Kasich, who has zero chance, and Ted Cruz, who's got a weak chance at best, it would benefit the country tremendously if they would step out, let Trump get his 1,237 delegates, and they just go right into battle with Hillary Clinton. But you know what? Politicians never do what's good for the country. They do what's good for themselves. And so, no, I don't expect Kasich or Cruz to drop out, which leaves shenanigans. When we get to Cleveland in July for the GOP National Convention. Speaking of which, item from EndingTheFed.com. If you really want to know why Donald Trump is being attacked at every level, it's all right here and it makes perfect sense. If you really want to know why DJT is being attacked, okay. If you have the cognitive abilities required to actually wrap your mind around the truth and ignore the hype, they will kill him before they let him be president. It could be a Republican or a Democrat that instigates the shutting up of Trump. Don't be surprised if Trump has an accident. Some people are getting very nervous. Barack Obama, Valerie Jarrett, Eric Holder, Hillary Clinton, and John Corzine, to name just a few. It's about the unholy dynamics between big government, big business, and big media. They all benefit by the billions of dollars from this partnership, and it's in all their interest to protect one another. It's one for all and all for one. It's a heck of a filthy relationship that makes everyone filthy rich, everyone except the American people. We get ripped off. We're the patsies. But for once, the powerful socialist cabal and the corrupt crony capitalists are scared. The over-the-top reaction to Trump by politicians of both parties, the media, and the biggest corporations of America has been so swift and insanely angry that it suggests they're all threatened and frightened. Donald Trump can self-fund. No matter how much they say to the contrary, the media, business, political elite understand Trump is no joke. He could actually win and upset their nice, cozy apple cart. It's no coincidence that everyone has gotten together to destroy the Donald. It's because most of the other politicians are part of the good old boys club. They talk big, but they won't change a thing. They're all beholden to big money donors. They're all owned by lobbyists, unions, lawyers, gigantic environmental organizations, and multinational corporations like Big Pharmacy or Big Oil. And they are owned lock, stock, and barrel by foreigners like George Soros owns Obama, or foreign governments own Hillary and their Clinton Foundation donations. These run-of-the-mill establishment politicians are all puppets owned by big money. But there's one man who isn't beholden to anyone. There's one man who doesn't need foreigners or foreign governments or George Soros or the United Auto Workers or the Teachers Union or the Service Employees International Union or the Bar Association to fund his campaign. Billionaire tycoon and maverick Donald Trump doesn't need anyone's help. That means he doesn't care what the media says. He doesn't care what the corporate elites think. That makes him very dangerous to the entrenched interests. That makes Trump a huge threat to those people. Trump can ruin everything for the bribed politicians and their spoiled slave masters. Don't you ever wonder why the GOP has never tried to impeach Obama? Don't you wonder why John Boehner and Mitch McConnell talk a big game but never actually try to stop Obama? Don't you wonder why Congress holds the purse strings yet has never tried to defund Obamacare or Obama's clearly illegal executive action on amnesty for illegal aliens? Bizarre, right? Defies logic, right? Well, first, I guess many key Republicans are being bribed. Secondly, I believe many key Republicans are being blackmailed. Whether they're having affairs or secretly gay or stealing taxpayers' money, the National Security Agency knows everything. Ask former House Speaker Dennis Hastert about that. The government even knew he was withdrawing large sums of his own money from his own bank account. The NSA, the SEC, the IRS, and all the other three-letter government agencies are watching every Republican political leader. They surveil everything. Thirdly, many Republicans are petrified of being called racists, so they're scared to ever criticize Obama or call out his crimes, let alone demand his impeachment. Fourth, why rock the boat? After defeat or retirement, if you're a good old boy, you've got a $5 million a year lobbying job waiting. The big money interests have the system gamed. Win or lose, they win. But Trump doesn't play by any of these rules. Trump breaks up this nice, cozy relationship between big government, big media, and big business. All the rules are out the window if Trump wins the presidency. The other politicians will protect Obama and his aides, but not Trump. Remember, Trump is the guy who publicly questioned Obama's birth certificate. He questioned Obama's college records and how a mediocre student got into an Ivy League university. Now he's doing something no Republican has had the chutzpah to do. He's questioning our relationship with Mexico, questioning why the border is wide open. He's questioning why no wall has been built across the border. He's questioning if allowing millions of illegal aliens into America is in our best interest. He's questioning why so many illegal aliens commit violent crimes yet are not deported. And he's questioning why our trade deals with Mexico, Russia, and China are so bad. It's Monday, my friends, and it's Real Truth. I'm just getting started. Hopefully my throat will hang out. We'll be back.
I'm Joe Jaquin, CEO of the Patriots Trading, and I would like to encourage everyone to make sure they are prepared financially as the Federal Reserve continues to destroy the value of the dollar.
I meant hang in. Okay, I'm human.
In the explosion of debt and the devaluing of your money, they openly say that they need 2% inflation, which simply means they hope to devalue your money, and they want to do this every single year, year after year. I know it's hard to understand, but the Federal Reserve believes in prosperity through debt and growth via the devaluation of your future. To learn more about how to protect yourself, visit us at allamericangold.com or call us at 800-951-0592 and protect yourself against the devaluing of your money. And the Word became flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. John bore witness of him and cried out, saying, This was he of whom I said, He who comes after me is preferred before me, for he was before me. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 14 and 15. No state shall enter into any treaty, alliance, or confederation, grant letters of marque or reprisal, coin money, emit bills of credit, make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debts, pass any bill of attainder, ex post facto law, or law impairing the obligation of contracts, or grant any title of nobility. Article 1, Section 10.
Okay, back on the air. Here we go. Yes, here we go. I guys, welcome back to Real Truth. It is Monday, brand spanking new week. Donald Trump is in D.C. today. Later on in the day, he's talking to the folks at AIPAC. If the GOP establishment isn't careful, they may just extinctify themselves. In any case, their free ride is over. Not because I say so, but because Judge Jeanine Pirro on Fox News says so. Let's listen in.
Hello and welcome to Justice. I'm Judge Jeanine Pirro. Thanks for being with us tonight. And now my opening statement. So, you don't like Donald Trump. You're going to create a unity ticket of other candidates to make sure that he doesn't win. Say again? You want to stop one of the biggest vote getters in your own party's Republican primary history? Yet, Donald Trump must be stopped is the Republican Party's mantra. Hey, I didn't always like my party's choice for president, but I generally supported him. Good that Trump is a white male, otherwise they'd be accused of being racist, and lucky Trump's not gay, otherwise the Republican Party would be accused of being homophobic. So let me see if I understand this. The guy who keeps winning, despite his being called a misogynist, a racist, a xenophobe, who has more than 50% of the delegates, with even as many as 17 other Republicans in those primaries, and the Republican Party's mission is to block Trump's nomination? What are you guys smoking? Okay, you like Ted Cruz. Good for you. But he needs to win 80% of the remaining Republican delegates. Keep dreaming, guys. It ain't gonna happen. And John Kasich, he's a nice guy, but absolutely no path to the nomination. So I say to myself, why would Republicans try to sabotage their own frontrunner and risk a Democrat winning the White House? And I keep coming up with the same answer. The Republican establishment, elected officials, and party leaders are in bed with the Democrats. So if Hillary wins, nothing's lost for them. It's business as usual. The lobbyists keep their offices on K Street. The pharmaceutical companies keep paying them. The unions keep adding to their pensions. And the lawmakers get their re-election bribes. Contributions. While we, the underclass, have to work 2 and 3 jobs, rack up a debt our children and grandchildren are going to have to pay for generations. And to scare you into submission, they predict Trump cannot win the general election. If not, pray tell, why does he keep winning the primaries and drawing crowds like we've never seen in American primary history? An election note primer. Trump already has 678 delegates. He needs 1,237 to win. Now, he's won 6 closed and 13 open primaries and caucuses. One where independents and Democrats, or just independents, vote. So why is this important? It tells you that Trump, besides winning the base, is appealing to independents and Democrats as well. Does that not bode well for the general election? Especially against an establishment politician most people consider untrustworthy and dishonest? So now they say he's divisive. Yet, think about this. The looting and the burning and the riots in Ferguson happened long before Trump. Black Lives Matter, Occupy Wall Street, MoveOn.org, all before Trump. The "what do we want dead cops, when do we want them now" chant, all before Trump. It's astonishing. Republicans plotting against their own frontrunner. If the establishment had exercised the same kind of energy to get evangelical votes to Romney in 2012, he might even have won. But then again, it wasn't that important. Because either way, either party, the establishment wins. Their jobs, their offices, their lifestyles intact as they continue on their treadmill of D.C. money and power. The party elders are petrified of Trump. The man is beholden to no one. He wins and it's game over for the elite. With Hillary, the game goes on. Heads up, Washington. We're not listening to you anymore because we're fed up. You haven't fixed a damn thing. And we can't take it anymore. The lies, the corruption, the debt, The taxes, the invasion, the freebies, the lack of accountability, sanctuary cities, religions forced to violate their own faith by providing birth control and abortifacts at the altar of Obamacare. And you're saying one thing and doing another constantly. The patronage games and the free ride on our backs are over. You're just not listening. For us, it's not just an election. It's a selection of Supreme Court justices and the direction our country takes for generations. We don't want anything more than what our founding fathers intended. Slippery slope into socialism does not work for us. We want an America where law enforcement, the military, and our allies are not the enemy. Boys, your arrogance is astonishing. And your condescension and scorn for the will of the American people is both mind-boggling and reminiscent of another time in our history. You know, from the beginning, we knew this would be a political revolution. Be careful, boys. Be very, very careful. You don't want to make this a different kind of revolution. And that's my open. Tell me.
That's correct. Thank you very much, Judge. A very different kind of revolution might happen, and I hope it doesn't. But it might. Because people realize that this is America's last chance. We can take control of our government now or never. America's at a very real breaking point. And, you know, God has a way of sending people at just the right people at just the right time. I'm not telling you that Donald Trump is any kind of messianic figure, but he's the plumber who shows up when the pipes are broken, and he knows how to fix them, and that's why we need him. And if we don't get him, and if the power brokers in D.C. try and screw us out of the candidate that America has overwhelmingly selected, then there will be bad times. Hope it doesn't happen, but it probably will. Item from the Hill. Donald Trump's critics within the GOP are desperate to find a way to stop him from becoming the nominee at the Republican National Convention in July. But even if that scenario is mathematically possible, a prospect that would require Trump to fall short of the magic number of 1,237 pledged delegates, it may not be politically feasible to wrest the nomination away from a candidate who will almost certainly have won many more contests than any of his rivals. Trump warned during an interview with CNN's New Day on Wednesday, quote, "You'd have riots," unquote, if you ended up close to the 1,237 mark only to be denied. The mention of rioting earned him a rebuke from Speaker Paul Ryan, who said the next day, quote, "Nobody should say such things, in my opinion," unquote. "Mr. Ryan, you're a whore and a jackass. Is it okay if I say things like that? I'll wait until I get your permission. Then I'll know what I can say." Back to this item. Regardless of the merits of raising the specter of unrest, there is no doubt taking the nomination away from Trump would spark enormous outrage among the businessman's supporters. But Republicans who believe that this nomination could devastate the party's chances in down-ballot elections and harm the GOP's image for years to come might believe that's a price worth paying. Stop right there! The GOP's image is crap! So if anyone tells you they're looking to protect the image of the GOP, he must be getting money from the government till. The GOP has been weak, impotent, irresolute. It's been a mat for Obama to walk on. It's done nothing. It's tried to outdo the left in being leftist. They're not even conservative. For all they crow about wanting a conservative candidate, the GOP is not conservative. The GOP is tepid water. It serves no one. If there was ever a party that needed or would benefit from a revolution, it's the GOP. Continue. The Republicans are damned if they do and damned if they don't, said Toby Berkovitz, Boston University professor who specializes in political communications. Berkovitz said that while, quote, "it is certainly a realistic fear that candidate Trump would take down all the down-ballot stuff, any attempt to thwart him would be fraught with difficulty." Berkovitz said in that scenario, Trump supporters, quote, would say, we was robbed. Okay, he didn't get a majority, but he came very close, and it was very clear through the primary process that he was the preferred candidate, fair and square, unquote. My friends, it is just that simple. It's fair and square. And if the government's not going to be fair and square with us, then we don't need a government like that. Item from the internet. It's hidden there in plain sight, even if it hasn't happened since the election of 1825. The people will not pick the next president. Congress will. We wrote about this last week on Medium, and now the story is beginning to flesh out. Politico reports that leading conservatives will meet on Thursday, that was last Thursday, to plot out a third-party spoiler plan to beat presumed nominee Donald Trump. With Marco Rubio suspending his campaign after losing the Florida primary, it's beginning to appear he will reverse his previous words to support a nominee Trump. Because there will be a third-party candidate, their name will likely be Mitt with a Kasich or Rubio on the same ticket. Michael Bloomberg practically left a breadcrumb from his theory in plain sight when he declared he would not be running for president this cycle. While pundits focused on why the math wouldn't work out for Bloomberg against Trump or Hillary Clinton, the former mayor of New York City buried his interesting analysis in his op-ed this week. What could be a major story arc out of the House of Cards or Veep may become a reality for our country come November when both Trump and Clinton do not secure a simple majority of electoral votes and Mitt Romney is elected president. Here's how it will happen. Donald Trump's going to get the Republican nomination outright. The establishment won't be able to stop him. He'll get 50%, so there'll be no brokered convention. There'll be no Mitt Romney savior moment in Cleveland. When Trump secures the nomination outright this summer, the establishment goes ballistic, terrified at the prospect of losing the party with Donald Trump as president. Suddenly they realize, holy blank, what if we could stop Donald Trump and keep Hillary Clinton out of the White House? So they run a moderate establishment Republican as a third-party candidate, 100% as a spoiler. Worst case scenario, they prevent Donald Trump from winning the White House. Best case scenario, they pull enough votes away from Hillary Clinton to prevent her from securing the necessary majority of 270 electoral votes. When the election goes to a House Representatives ballot presided over by Speaker Paul Ryan, Mitt Romney's former running mate in 2012. If neither candidate gets 270 electoral college votes, Congress picks the president, and he will be called President Mitt, the one who's laying the groundwork for his doomsday electoral scenario. It's all right there, hidden in plain sight in the 12th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. My folks, I'm going to go on. You're free to check this out on your own, but it's a scary prospect. Item from the Daily Caller, a Republican National Committee member, will propose an amendment to the GOP convention rules this summer that will allow any Republican candidate with at least one delegate to be deemed nominated on the first ballot. So using Iowa as an example, every candidate received at least 4% of the vote in the Iowa caucuses and will earn one delegate, thus being nominated for consideration at the Republican National Convention. North Dakota National Committeeman Curly Hoagland, member of the RNC Rules Committee, told the Daily Caller on Tuesday. Excuse me. In other words, 8 candidates have won at least one delegate in the primary or caucuses since Iowa. So what I'm proposing to do is state simply that the 8 candidates that have received at least a single delegate in the primary process will be deemed to be nominated at the convention. So the voting will begin on the first ballot with 8 names, and you know who they are, Hoagland said. Unquote. My friends, we're almost at a break. I'm not going to start this next item, but I will tell you that there is some very definite monkey business going on. Let me switch this in place. Item from the Rutherford Institute. During Sunshine Week, the Rutherford Institute joined with a broad spectrum of nearly 30 organizations and whistleblowers, including the Government Accountability Project, Federal Law Enforcement Officers Association, the American Library Association, and whistleblower Colleen Rowley, to urge Congress to strengthen protections for employees of the Federal Bureau of Investigation who speak out against government waste and misconduct. Unquote. We'll be back.
We all know that our government is out of control.
As you can tell, I feel lousy. But trooper that I am, I'm staying on the air despite the fact that I can't breathe.
Liberty Forum writer said, officials in government
Just spell my name right on the base of the statue. That's all I ask.
AccountabilityRevolution.com is the place to go to learn how you can actually make that happen. Become their judges, not their slaves. AccountabilityRevolution.com. Great Plains Power has been providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom-tailored capabilities as modest emergency lighting all the way to commercial-scale power. Great Plains Power is a full-service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom design system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com. Now this is the testimony of John when the Jews sent priests and Levites from Jerusalem to ask him, "Who are you?" He confessed and did not deny, but confessed, "I am not the Messiah." And they asked him, "What then? Are you Elijah?" He said, "I am not." "Are you the prophet?" And he answered, "No." The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 19 through 21. Article 4. The right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers, and effects against unreasonable searches and seizures shall not be violated, and no warrant shall be issued but upon probable cause, supported by oath or affirmation, and particularly describing the places to be searched and the persons or things to be seized. Piccolo's restaurant in Denver reminds us that over 750,000 children were reported missing last year. Over 58,000 of these were abducted by non-family members. Keep an eye out for youngsters at play, and if you see anything suspicious, contact the authorities immediately. This message from Piccolo's restaurant in Denver. It's not only the best Italian and Mexican cuisine, it's the people who care. Give them a call at 303-757-5166. 303-757-5166. Piccolo.
Alright guys, welcome back to Real Truth. Howard Riell. I'm throwing it back to Fox News. Sean Hannity, my good buddy, has former New York City Mayor Rudolph Giuliani on, and he also is talking about the possibility that the power brokers and the GOP are going to try and screw Trump out of the nomination and screw tens of millions of Americans out of their vote. Let's listen.
It's really important for the party to play it straight, to not play games, to be transparent, say these are going to be the rules, and when the time comes that we know whether we're going to have an open convention or not, that everyone understands moving forward that the preparations are being made, everyone's included in those conversations, and when you get to Cleveland, if that were to happen, you want people to at least say when they walk away, okay, they played it straight. That's what's really important in this process.
All right, that was RNC Chairman Reince Priebus on the show last night talking about the possibility of a contested convention come July. I think it would be a disaster. What does former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani think? He's with us. How are you, Mr. Mayor? Good to see you.
How are you, Sean?
I think any effort, like for example, I love John Kasich. He's a friend and a colleague. He did a great job in D.C., a great job as governor, but he has no path to nomination.
Correct.
And he's staying in. I don't know why, but it seems like there are a lot of people that are hoping that they can rip this away from Trump or rip this away from Cruz if Cruz catches up.
Well, what that means is they're going to rip it away from the Republican Party. Because Reince Priebus, me, you, nobody constitutes the Republican Party. It's the people.
Yeah, the voters.
And right now, if you judge by what the people are saying, they want Donald Trump. He's won most of the primaries. He's won in the South against Cruz, which you would have thought would have been totally impossible. His message is resonating. You may not agree with all of it, but Ronald Reagan,
My 80% friend is not my 20% enemy. And when we look at what we have on the other side, Hillary Clinton, gosh, I mean, it would be hard to put this country back together again.
Yeah.
So I think if we go into this convention without Trump reaching the magic majority number,
1237,
but being substantially ahead as he is now, you've got to go with the guy who's gotten the most votes. You just have to. And in fact, when we've had open conventions in the past, like Ford came into the convention against Reagan
with more votes,
more
delegates,
but not a majority.
Right.
We gave it to Ford. You know, maybe we should have given it to Reagan, but we didn't. We gave it to Ford, and that's generally the rule. Eisenhower went into the '52 convention a little bit short of a majority. Taft right behind him, and Earl Warren switched California to Eisenhower. Eisenhower got the nomination. Earl Warren went on the Supreme Court.
I wonder what that smoke-filled room looked like at the time.
Kennedy went to the Democratic Convention in 1960, a few votes short. Stevenson, Johnson tried to knock him off, but they couldn't, and they gave it to the guy with the most votes. If you don't give it to the guy with the most votes, you're basically turning your back on the grassroots of the Republican Party.
You're disenfranchising all of those people that showed up. My answer is this, for me personally, whoever has the most votes and delegates, and I've been fair to all the candidates, giving them a lot of airtime.
You absolutely have.
I'm going with the person with the most votes and delegates because that's who the people decided.
And then I have to add one other thing to it, just having been through it myself and analyzed this for years. I think Donald Trump over Ted Cruz has a better chance of winning the general election.
Why do you think that?
I'll tell you why. Because I think from the Democratic point of view, they faced Cruz before. They know what to look for. It's like throwing a straight fastball that doesn't move very much. Donald Trump is a Mariano Rivera
knuckle curve slider.
Got it that drops right at the very end. You don't know where to swing at it. You don't know where it's going to go. You don't know what he's going to do. I have to believe, no matter what their rhetoric is, they are frightened as heck of running against Donald Trump. They do not, because they don't know how to playbook him.
You've known him for years. If he does win, what kind of president
25
do you think he'd be?
Donald Trump, when you sit with him in person, as you have, right, is a reflective, gentlemanly, decent, smart,
good father.
Does as Newt Gingrich has pointed out, does he have a lot to learn? Absolutely. Does he know he has a lot to learn? Absolutely. He'll make rational decisions. He'll make intelligent decisions. He'll make the same kind of decisions that he made that got him to do the Wallman rink in 8 months when the darn thing took 3 years for Ed Koch, or the Ferry Point golf course that he got done in a year that took 13 years of litigation to get done, or the projects that he does. The guy is a practical guy.
Could he win New York?
There's a chance he could win New York. I think he has an outreach to that independent Democratic voter that voted for Ronald Reagan, who hasn't voted on our side since then.
So New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania?
I think all in play.
Really?
Pennsylvania,
Especially.
I think, big time. Pennsylvania is a big Second Amendment state. People don't realize that. That whole central part of the state.
Bitter people clean to the guns and religion from there. Remember?
Second Amendment state. I think his appeal to Pennsylvania is very, very, very strong. Very, very similar to Michigan. Very similar to places like that. I see him in the Midwest. It's very, very strong. The ticket. I mean, you don't know that until you get.
Who would you like if you have top of your head? Put you on the spot. Kasich. All right.
I like Florida and Ohio in the bag.
Has to be.
Trump puts Florida in the bag. Kasich puts Trump together puts Ohio in the bag. Wow. After that, the electoral arithmetic gets tough for the Democrats, particularly since they're going to have to be fighting battles in Pennsylvania
and Hillary's New York, and she's a flawed candidate.
Yeah.
She might be indicted. Maybe you'll be the next Attorney General. You can prosecute the case. Just a thought. All right, Mr. Mayor. Good to see you.
Take care.
Yeah, that would make me laugh too, to see Hillary Clinton indicted. That would be like a birthday present for me. Item from Breitbart, political operative Roger Stone. By the way, my friends, Roger Stone will be on this show 48 hours from now. Political operative Roger Stone told Breitbart News Daily host Stephen Bannon Wednesday morning he expects Donald Trump to sweep upcoming primary contests after big wins in Florida, Missouri, and other states. Stopping him may be almost impossible. By my calculation, Trump now needs about 500 delegates, or only 50% of those remaining, to secure the nomination, Stone said. And this calendar is moving into some of Trump's strongest states: Arizona, New York, Pennsylvania, Indiana, West Virginia, New Jersey. I expect a Trump sweep of those. They account for about 366 delegates of the 946 left to be selected. So Trump needs about 150 votes of the 580 proportional delegates left to him to put him over the top. He is very, very close to being able to pull this off. Stone warned, however, that trouble for Trump could come with some machinations of the Republican National Committee. The unbinding of delegates on the first ballot, monkey business about whether California is winner take all, unquote. He said Cruz has very little chance to stop Trump. Quote, it is very, very close to impossible. Cruz can only tinker at the margins, unquote. Not even Cruz's superior political operation can overcome Trump's message. Quote, the fact that he's winning these states and winning them big in most cases, with the exception of Missouri, is a testimony to the strength of the message rather than to the Trump operation, Stone said. Stone said the only chance to unseat Trump is, quote, on a late ballot if they can stall him just short of 1237 on the first ballot, which gets less likely every single time we have a primary, unquote. We'll be back.
Howdy, folks. Have you ever thought about having your own backyard chickens? Now you have a source for certified organic, no GMO, no soy chicken feed. HappyHens.biz can even deliver, or you can pick up. Call me, Tim, at 303-829-5948, or go to happyhens.biz for pricing and ingredients. At happyhens.biz, we love happyhens.biz, or call us at 303-829-5948. Chris Marguerite sincerely asks everyone to get involved in our community this holiday. Whether it's a toy for a needy child, care packages for the military members, or giving the gift of life by giving blood, you can make a difference that directly affects someone else's life. This message is from Trace Margaritas at 2319 8th Avenue in Greeley, with locations in Fort Collins and Loveland. For more information, call 970-378-6662. They're on the air because they care. Trace Margaritas in Greeley.
And of his fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. For the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, he has declared him. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 16.
We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, to ordain and establish this Constitution
Alright guys, we're back. I'm still here. The name is Howard Riell, and I have got, let's see, Alan Dershowitz talking to an anti-Israel questioner at a conference. His answer is brilliant. Listen up.